Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. A big thank you for the support you're granting this platform. My memory never forgets. If there's a man in this country who keeps records, it's me, Kakasungura. I have good records of William Ruto's videos. Since he was the member of parliament for Eldoret North, he became the minister. He became the deputy president, and now he is the president of the Republic of Kenya. All those videos, I have them and I've kept them safe. Why? Because internet never forgets. History never forgets. Human beings can forget, but Kaka, my memory can never forget. I want to take you back before the 2022 general election, when William Ruto was running his campaigns, and that time he was the deputy president, and they had fallen apart with his boss Uhuru Kenyatta. At this time, Matiang'i was the cabinet secretary for Interior. When he was the cabinet secretary for Interior, I remember William Ruto himself very well. I remember Aaron Cheruiyot. I remember very well Kipchumba Murkomen. At that time he was a senator. And now he is the Matiang'i of that time because he's the current minister of Interior. They went for a meeting. And William Ruto said that police should be independent. Police should not take instructions from anyone because they should be an independent institution. I remember Murkomen himself saying that power is transient. Power expires, meaning if you are in authority, use power well because a time is coming when you will not have those powers. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember Aaron Cheruiyot saying live on NTV, there was a news report, 4 minutes news report, and it was packaged very well. I remember Aaron Cheruiyot saying, na alisema, akasema kwamba power is transient. Nataka niwacheze that video, that news item that was compiled by NTV. You listen to it, and then from there, I am coming back for my last closing remarks on this issue. Can we listen to them?
Deputy President William Ruto appears to be engaged in a verbal war with Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i. On Wednesday, Matiang'i warned that the country is walking a dangerous path that could lead to violence. But speaking at a funeral in Nakuru County, the Deputy President said Kenya will not deteriorate into political violence ahead, during or after the 2022 general election. He also cautioned the police to remain independent and not to be used by any individual. CS Matiang'i in turn called out the Deputy President for what he said is stooping so low in his pronouncements, yet he sits on the National Security Council. Richardson Ghana with that report.
The mini-poll violence witnessed last week in Nakuru, Kisii and Kakamega counties and the subsequent arraignment of some leaders in court this week appears to have rattled the Deputy President and his allies, who now feel that state organs are meddling in politics.
Characteristics of a modern state. Number one is the rule of law. Number two is accountability through democracy. Na ya mwisho is to have a strong state. And a strong state is an impartial state. Tuache kuigiza maneno ya serikali na polisi katika maneno ya siasa, kwa sababu hiyo ni kurudisha Kenya nyuma.
Msimamo wa katiba na msimamo wa serikali ya Kenya ni kwamba jeshi ya polisi is an independent police force that is not expected to take instructions from anybody.
These leaders feel institutions meant to protect the rule of law and public freedoms are under threat.
There are cabinet ministers who have made the judiciary a punching bag, that because they are not convicting those they consider to be their political enemies, they want to turn the heat on our judiciary. I want to remind them that power is temporary, that there will come a time that they will not be in power
and they will rely on a judge to keep them from abusers of power like themselves as they are doing right now.
There was a time I used to laugh and joke and enjoy time with the president, and he sends me to do this and that and that. But I always had it in my conscience that this position I hold is temporary. I want to tell Mr. Matiang'i and all the team that I left behind, that position is still transient. Let us protect our country. Let's protect the values that are there for our nation.
Let us tell those who are intent in government, those who are intent on using violence, using their state offices to try and direct Kenyans on how to vote or which leaders to elect. We are beyond that era in this country where people will be directed on who to vote.
However, speaking in Murang'a County Interior CS Fred Matiang'i says that those public pronouncements are in bad taste.
Na ninajiheshimu na ninaheshimu rais wangu. Unlike some people, I respect my president and I respect the constitution of the country. I cannot sit in the National Security Council and insult the Inspector General in public. Na tunakaa na yeye kwa National Security Council.
In response to Matiang'i's desire for tough punishment for those involved in the recent by-election violence, the Deputy President urged the courts to remain impartial.
An independent judiciary is the pillar to the rule of law. We expect that the judiciary will stand up to be counted as an independent institution and not to listen to any lectures from any quarters.
On this, Matiang'i defended the security personnel.
We have lowered down the standards of leadership even in some offices to incredible levels. How on earth would you sit in the National Security Council with the Inspector General of Police? Then you go to criticize him at funerals.
Ruto also quelled public concern about the possibility of the country descending into violence in next year's general election.
Hatutarudi nyuma katika siasa ya chuki na ugomvi na migawanyiko na ukabila. Tutaenda mbele katika siasa ya kuunganisha Wakenya na kupanga mambo ya maendeleo ya taifa letu la Kenya.
The Deputy President says the pact that birthed the Jubilee Party here in Nakuru County close to a decade ago remains intact. He also says that the executive will continue to uphold the Constitution and protect the independent offices therein. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Nakuru.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard how they are speaking. Now today, since yesterday, by the way, as we speak, Salasia has been held since Friday and was arraigned in court today over incitement. Yesterday, you had police surrounding the homes of the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Police. Today, police have raided, they were trying to raid the home of Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya. The young people protested, they vandalized vehicles belonging to the government, and they said, you cannot arrest our governor. Now, a few questions to William Ruto. When you were the deputy president, you told us police should be independent and they should not take instructions from anyone. I'm asking you a simple question, Mr. President. Who sent police to Kitale today? Under whose instructions did the police go to Kitale wanting to arrest Natembeya? On whose instructions, Mr. William Ruto? On whose instructions? I want to ask Kipchumba Murkomen a simple question. Under whose instructions did the police go to Kitale? Under whose instructions, Mr. Kipchumba Murkomen? I'm asking you a simple question. Today you are the Minister of Interior. Nani alituma polisi Kitale? Niulize William Ruto. Jameni, tuelezane. Nani alituma polisi Kitale? Muniambie leo. Police, as per you, police should be independent and they are not supposed to take instructions from anyone. Nani aliwatuma Kitale? God bless you. See you in the next episode. Asanteni sana.